Good afternoon. It is Jayashrii with the Finding Freedom podcast. I hope that this finds you doing very well. And this week we have another really great question. This is actually something that I just really have felt is important to understand. So I'm so glad that this was posed. And the question is, why is it that some spiritual messages tell us to refrain from thoughts, that we are not the thinker, and then others are saying to be careful what we think about, think correctly, think to make life better? It's confusing to me. I have no idea what to do with my thoughts. I do understand that we are not really the thinker, but the observer behind our thoughts, but it's still confusing to me. Absolutely. It's confusing to see these types of mixed messages. And I've felt this way, as I mentioned. I think that it's a disservice when there are very, very famous works that tout the idea of, we are what we think, whatever it is that we think we will become. Things like that. And I remember when I first heard that, I thought, oh, good grief. I have no control, it seems, over my thoughts, and I certainly don't want to become most of what it is that is being thought in my head. And so that can be really depressing to think, okay, I'm going to become what I'm thinking about, but I don't seem to have any control over the thoughts. Well, the good news is that you can throw that away. The thoughts, thoughts are not who we are. We are not our thoughts, and we do not have control over our thoughts. We do not need to feel the pressure of needing to control our thoughts. In fact, as I've talked about in previous podcasts, thoughts are suffering for good reason, no matter what they are. And generally they are of a negative nature. But even if they're starting out in a seemingly positive frame, as soon as we go up in the head and we start following those thoughts around, they lead to the path of suffering. And as I've mentioned, the reason for this is that all thoughts are past and future. And in Buddhism, Zen, for example, and many other traditions, this is stated, and we know that thoughts of the past are depression, and thoughts of the future are anxiety. An enlightened being has no thoughts. That says something, doesn't it? So, for someone to teach that the basis of our well-being begins with our thought is outright wrong. It's just plain false. So it's a great question, and it's something that nobody's ever talking about. There are millions of people who are hopelessly trying to think their way using the very mechanism that causes suffering to end suffering is not going to work. Now, a variation of this is that we may want to write down some things, goals, but again, this gets into the manifestation territory, which I'm not actually a huge fan of either, because the secret is that we are already perfect, and nothing external is ever going to provide that which we seek. Nothing. Only self-realization which is already a done deal. It's great if we get things that we want, but it's never enough. So you can do all the manifestation you want, and that's great if you become very good at manifestation, but it's not going to provide what it is that we truly seek. We are what we seek. When we are stuck in the world of name and form, which is the illusion of the play of Maya, the world of duality, we're stuck in a world of concepts. Every form is a concept. The body is a concept. Consciousness has no form. Truth is that which never changes, that which is formless. Even our arrival in this world is a concept, because our true self is that which is never born and never dies, infinity. Whatever that we can see cannot be us. Because we know something means we cannot be it. Nothingness itself is the ultimate and who we are. Emptiness. This is why in Buddhism and Zen, emptiness is revered. It is an incredible, incredible state to realize our nothingness. This is called transcending ego, transcending the illusion of being a separate self. It's freedom, because nothing can hurt, destroy, or change, or affect our true nature, consciousness. The kingdom of God is within, and it's infinite and indestructible, no matter what. Nothing can harm it. It's unconditional. It's beyond concepts, beyond name and form. And so, back to this question. We do not need to refrain from thoughts. We simply redirect our attention off thoughts. And that is peace. And that's what we're doing in meditation. And it's okay if during meditation we're filled with thoughts and we have a very, quote, noisy meditation. That's part of meditation. But we don't gauge the meditation by how the meditation itself goes. What we will do is we will see that simply by committing to our practice, preferably twice daily, for a prescribed period of time, that the rest of our day is incredibly peaceful, effortless. Things just go a lot more smoothly when we meditate. And this process, meditation happens to us. We don't do meditation. So we don't use the thinking mind to do anything, because thinking is ego. That's coming from a place of limitation. Instead, we're plugging into the unlimited when we meditate. And basically things are being processed and purified, and we're letting go. We're letting go of that conditioning that is not who we are. The mind is simply conditioning, concepts. So, when we're in flow, when we're present, here, now, right action occurs. And there are no more questions. when we're present, and therefore we need no more answers because there are no more questions. So please feel free to share your thoughts on this topic, and please share them in the comments below, kindly. Feel free to like this, share it with a friend, and if you're on YouTube, subscribe and hit the notification bell, and give this a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy the content and to keep it going. As always, I send you love, light, and presence. Namaskar.